What's up, Sooner fans? Welcome back to the Sooner Surge. If you're not a part of what's going on, we appreciate everyone that's been subscribed and commenting and liking. There is the button there. Make sure you are subscribed to the Sooner Surge. Uh, the power line, guys, it's continuing to grow. Is it finished yet? That's what we're about to talk about. But before we do, let's talk about what is already in place in the power line. 5-star David Stone, 4-star Nigel Smith, 4-star Jaden Jackson, 4-star Denny Okoye, and I guess you could say between 3 and 4-star Wyatt Gilmore. And guys, this class, we can talk about where this ranks in defensive line classes, but it is very safe to say that what is happening at OU is different than what's been happening there in a long time.
Yeah, this is for sure the best class since 2006. That was headlined by Gerald McCoy. I think in the rating system, they were a little bit higher. I think this actually is, unless things have changed, this is the third highest class per the 247 class calculator in OU history. I think it was 2018 was a little higher, maybe 19. I can't remember which one, but they had 7 defensive linemen. David Agwebu was in there listed as a defensive lineman, never played defensive line. He was more of a linebacker at OU. So you kind of take with that as you will. For 5 guys in the power line, this class is 112 just on the defensive line. Overall, the class is 273. So, that shows how much value is in this defensive line. It is a very good class. I think they still will end up getting a couple more. At one point, they were willing to take in 8 guys. Obviously, Williams Nwaneri committed to Missouri. You have Dominic McKinley, who committed to Texas A&M, and then Zena committed to Texas. So that's down 3 guys, but there's a few guys that all 3 of those guys they're still going to pursue. They're not giving up on Williams Nwaneri. I'm sure we'll see tomorrow night he'll be wearing some OU gloves again before his high school game if LSN plays tomorrow. Dominic McKinley, I think OU's going to still pursue after him. He's going to be hard to sway away from A&M regardless of really how they end up, in my opinion. I think he's kind of one that was, when he's committed, it's the performance on the field doesn't necessarily matter, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it does. Maybe if A&M continues to lose like they are and continue to look like just a very bad football team, the recruiting class will some people should reconsider and maybe decommit and go elsewhere. So you have to look at those. But another guy, CJ Jackson, OU tried to get him on campus. He hasn't been on campus since June 3rd. He's a Georgia Tech commit. I could see OU maybe ramping up on him, maybe try to get a flip there. But there's always guys in the class. We saw it last year where they view them as underrated. They're barely a 3-star, and the staff looks at them and they're like, this guy's a lot better than a 3-star. Let's offer him. Taylor Wine was one last year. It was I think it was October or so when they really started going after him. Then he committed shortly after. So late into the recruiting process, midway through the senior year, and the staff evaluated him and thought he was a Oklahoma level defensive lineman, and they went after him. So that's definitely a possibility for the power line.
Yeah, and here's the deal. Whether or not OU's able to land some more or who they go after, that is a question. It's a question mark. Who's it going to be? 2 things that are not questionable any longer, guys. Chavis and Bates, they are who we thought they were when it comes to recruiting. It was talked about how they could change the face of recruiting defensive prospects at the university. They seem to have answered that calling and lived up to the billing, I guess you could say. And the other thing that you don't have to question anymore is anyone who sees what is happening. You saw the video on Twitter about the power line. Guys, people are going to see this, and there's really only one response, and that's probably that you want to be around that you want to be part of what's going on. So those two questions have been answered.
Yeah, and Venables, to be fair, last year, guys, they didn't really have the chance to get a whole lot in the recruiting class, right? Just when they came in, it was kind of a late start, right? And so this year, you're kind of seeing the full thing that they can get when they get a full year of recruiting with these guys. And don't forget, Hunter, you mentioned maybe getting a few more guys. Brent Venables loves the late bloomers, okay? He waits, and there's some guys that are kind of, I wouldn't say forgotten, but they bloom late in their senior season. He loves going after those guys. And so I would expect them to get one maybe like that as well.
Yeah, and the other thing about BV that he demonstrated this last offseason, maybe not the first offseason, but for sure last year, the transfer portal guys. I mean, there's going to be an opportunity. There's going to be some guys in the portal. They're going to come up. They're going to be guys that were highly touted out of high school. I'm not going to name any right now because I don't know who they might be, but I promise you there's going to be some big name dudes on the D line that are going to be looking for a new home. And it wouldn't surprise me one bit if BV uses the portal again to especially increase that depth and possibly pull a guy who may have been a 4 or 5 star even.
Yeah, they're going to be losing a lot of guys among the defensive line this year. Notably, the 2 transfers, Rondell Bothroyd, Trace Ford. Those are 2 edges that you're not going to have next year. There's a few other guys. Isaiah Coe, I believe he's out of eligibility. Should be, unless he has some sort of a COVID year kind of thing. Jordan Kelly is finally going to be out of eligibility. I know people that watch OUDNA saw, I think it was Chavis. It was Chavis or Todd Bates, something like that. He's been here 16 years. He's been at OU for a very long time. So he's out of eligibility now. There's a few more, few guys that if they continue to perform well, maybe the draft's where they go. So you only have 5 coming in this year, which is honestly a lot. We've had years before where there was only 3. There was only 2 and maybe 1 4-star. I think last year we had I think it was 3, maybe 4, and one of them left. Derek LeBlanc did not stay around. So transfer portal is definitely an option. It's a very good option. Cannot complain. Like, you can't complain at all with what happens. Like, you could not take another guy. And you have David Stone, Danny Okoye, Nigel Smith, Jaden Jackson, and Wyatt Gilmore. Those are 5 guys I'm thrilled are going to be wearing the crimson and cream because they're all very good football players. Like, Wyatt Gilmore is a 4-star, not in the composite rankings, but by 247 themselves. And, I mean, we saw that clip a few weeks ago. I mean, he pancaked the dude, like, or I don't even know if you call it a pancake. I mean, maybe just, like, planted, like, it's unreal. Danny Okoye is one of the most athletic players I have seen. Like, the fact that he's not a 5-star is just crazy. And then David Stone lives up to every bit of the 5-star status. I don't know how On3 can continue to downgrade him in the rankings. Like, he should be moving the other way. He should be a top 3 guy across the board, and he is not. Jaden Jackson looks much better than a 4-star. He's a true nose tackle. Has that chemistry with David Stone already. Nigel Smith is another great defensive lineman. Really excited for him. It's just this whole class. Everyone should be excited about everyone in this power line, and very good chance we see it get better in some way.
I agree. And last year, you would say the secondary was an area that was highly focused upon building depth, really did great in the secondary recruiting aspect. And this year, it's really, I think the receiver and defensive line, those 2 position groups stand out immensely. And like you said, Hunter, Wyatt Gilmore, if anything, these guys are underrated. They're not overhyped. They're not overranked. The Sooners are getting very talented, extremely elite talent that is going to be on this defensive line. And I don't think they're done yet either. And what we have coming up, guys, is we're going to continue to provide you recruiting updates. Terry Bussey is an athlete that is going to be committing soon. Where that is to, we can talk about that. We'll have a video on a Terry Bussey update sometime coming soon. But the Sooners are going to keep pursuing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But these commits that they have right now are locked down, I think.
Yeah, and there's a few I kind of just forgot about because they're PWOs. Burgeon Kaiser and Ace Hodges. They all train with Christian Chief Littlehead, best defensive line coach trainer in the state of Oklahoma. He now has 4 guys going to OU as he trains David Stone, Danny Okoye as well. But Burgeon Kaiser, I watched him play a few weeks ago. The fact that guy is not even necessarily a 3-star, he kind of is. It's weird because he's a PWO. I think he's going to be one that's on scholarship within a year. I think it's going to be the Gavin Freeman kind of PWO where you come in as a PWO, you earn your way onto the field, and then you get put on scholarship because that guy is he's very, very good. The fact that he was willing to take a PWO this early in the process is very telling on. We talk about culture a lot. They got a lot of guys that are just very like-minded. You talk to any of them, they're going to say the same things about Coach Bates, Coach Chavis, Coach Venables. When you have all these players kind of meshing that way, something special is bound to happen.
And you heard it last night, even from Okoye in an interview where he talked about, even in his commitment there as he was committing, family, relationship, all being preached there and talked about. And here's the scary thing, Sooner fans. I don't know if you'd say scary, not for Sooner fans, but for sure for the opponent, is these guys are uber talented, and now they're going to be coached by some of the greatest coaches and defensive minds out there in the game. It's exciting. Can't wait to see these guys on campus. There's more to come. Make sure you are part of what's going on here at Sooner Surge as we provide the updates and the content on the Sooners, all sports, all the time, 24/7. Appreciate you joining us. Till next time, Boomer.